Thinking about moving to Honolulu? Well, before you dive into paradise, let me share some realities you may not have considered. Honolulu is amazing, but if you hate these things, you might want to think twice. Make sure you stick around to the end because the last point could really surprise you. Let's get into it. I'm making this video because I've seen too many people move here only to regret it, and I don't want that to be you. Moving is a big investment in both time and money, so it's important to know exactly what you're getting into before making the leap. Let's talk about the biggest challenges of living in Honolulu. First up, the cost of living. Honolulu is one of the most expensive cities in the world. In fact, the average cost of living here is around $3,000 per month for a single person. That's way higher than the US average, and it's 50% more expensive than cities like Tucson or Kansas City. And it's not just rent. A loaf of bread will set you back $4, a dozen eggs are around $7, and even a gallon of milk is pushing $7. For housing, median home price in Honolulu is $1.1 million, and the median condo price is $510,000 as of August 2024. Renting a modest 900 square foot apartment could easily cost you upwards of $3,800 in a prime area like Kaka'ako. If you're not prepared for these costs, it could be a serious burden on your finances. If you're coming from a more affordable place and you're not ready for this kind of sticker shock, Honolulu might not be for you. Next, let's talk about Oahu's isolation. We're talking about an island that's 2,500 miles from the nearest major city on the mainland. While that might sound like a dream for some, it's not for everyone. If you need to travel frequently for work or just enjoy quick getaways, you'll be dealing with long, expensive flights. Flights to the west coast typically start around $400, and it's at least a 5-hour journey each way. You won't be popping over to visit family or friends as easily as you would on the mainland. So, if you hate feeling isolated, living in Honolulu could become frustrating fast. The job market in Honolulu is heavily reliant on tourism, the military, and government services. If you're in tech, finance, or other high-growth industries, your options will be limited. Hawaii's unemployment rate typically hovers lower than the national average, but that's largely due to tourism-driven jobs, which can be seasonal and lower paying. If you're moving here for a new career or looking to grow professionally, you might find that Honolulu isn't the economic powerhouse that cities like San Francisco or Seattle are. You'll need to really evaluate if the job opportunities here align with your long-term goals. Lastly, let's talk about taxes. Hawaii has one of the highest state income tax rates in the country, reaching 11% for top earners. This is something a lot of people overlook when planning their move, but it can have a serious impact on your take-home pay. Combine that with the high cost of living, and your paycheck doesn't stretch as far as it would elsewhere. You'll need to budget carefully to make sure you're not caught off guard. Of course, that's only the state tax. If you factor in the federal taxes, you're looking at about 50% at the top tax bracket for high income earners. If you hate traffic, Oahu might test your patience. Despite being a small island, Oahu has some of the worst traffic in the nation. The H1 freeway is notorious for congestion during peak hours. This is typically going from the west side, such as Kapolei, to Honolulu, also known as town, in the morning, and the opposite direction in the afternoon. Average commuter spends over 64 hours stuck in traffic each year, and that's more than some major mainland cities. And let's not forget about parking, especially in downtown Honolulu or Waikiki. It can be a nightmare to find a spot. If you dread sitting in traffic for hours on end, it's something to seriously consider before making a move, or at least be aware of the patterns so that you can avoid the worst traffic. Another challenge you might not expect is limited healthcare options. While Honolulu does have some great hospitals, including Queens Medical Center, the overall healthcare system can be strained. The state has faced doctor shortages, especially in specialized fields, with some patients having to wait weeks or even months for appointments. And if you need a highly specialized treatment that's not available locally, you might need to fly to the mainland, which adds time, cost, and stress. For those who rely on regular medical care or have specific health needs, this could be a major drawback. Lastly, let's talk about the weather. Now, most people think Hawaii is sunny and perfect all year round. And while it's true that we have amazing weather most of the time, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. The windward side of the island gets a lot of rain. Kaneohe and Kailua, for example, see upwards of 80 inches of rain per year. And don't forget the humidity. If you hate dealing with sticky heat, Honolulu's tropical climate might wear on you over time. Plus, we also get the occasional hurricane threat and volcanic activity. So, if you're someone who prefers a dry climate or cooler seasons, Honolulu's weather might not be as dreamy as you think. Alright, so those are just a few realities of living on Oahu. Obviously, there are a lot more positives about living here, which is why I moved here 20 years ago. Personally, I love the consistent surf, beautiful weather, and warm culture, but it's definitely not for everyone. What do you think? Would these factors make you reconsider moving, or is paradise worth the trade-offs? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more insider tips on living in Hawaii. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.